This is the 7th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And I'd like to speak a little bit this morning about being very ordinary. This is Mission Alive, you're with Roger from the MSC Mission Office. We have these periods of the year called Ordinary Time. At the moment, this will go up till Ash Wednesday, then we start the season of Lent. Then later, after the season of Easter, we will go back into ordinary time. So let's think what it is to be ordinary. I want to reflect a little bit on the readings. On the first reading, God says to the Hebrew people, "Be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." And elsewhere it says, "Be holy as I am." Now, you might say, that's not ordinary. That's sort of off the planet. That's beyond us. But God says, I am ordinary. I am holy. And God is holy as God can be holy. And if God says to us to be holy, then we must be holy as human beings can be holy. We're not expected to be holy like God, but we're expected to be as holy as we can. And holy doesn't mean falling on our knees and saying prayers and going to Mass all the time. Holy means living out what it means to be a Christian in the presence of our God in the world. Then in this first reading it goes on, "You must not bear hatred for your brother in your heart," or your sister, "and you must openly tell someone." So it's communication, it's dialogue. You must not exact vengeance. Now you might think, gee, that's pretty hard. Don't know whether I can do that. Well, what God is saying is, this is ordinary for being a believer, for being a follower of God, follower of God's law and God's love, and to be one of the people of God. This is ordinary. Not to hate each other, not to take vengeance. And you must love your neighbour as yourself. This is ordinary for us. This is what we do as ordinary Christians. We love one another. We put up with each other. We do good for one another. We help one another. This is ordinary. This is not extraordinary. If we go beyond that, then we're on the way to being a martyr or a saint or something. Most of us will not do that. But we must do what is ordinary. Love one another, as Jesus said, as I have loved you. Now in the gospel, Jesus goes into this thing of, you have heard it said like this, but I say to you. And he does a whole series of those. You have heard how it said you must love your neighbour and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you. So Jesus does this thing of throwing the opposite. This is what people say. This is the practice. This is the minimum. But I say to you. And this is what Jesus says to us. This is what it means to be a Christian. This is what it means to be ordinary. So in ordinary time, it emphasises to us that, we're not on the big feast days. So I often thought the big feast days and the seasons are easy to preach because you've got a theme, you've got something to hang some words on. But in ordinary time, let's be ordinary. Let's be ordinary Christians. Love God, love our neighbour, do good for one another. This is what it means to be Christian. And this is our mission in the world, to spread this way of living to all people, to all our neighbours. Thank you for being with us.